Louis Wain was an English artist since the late 19th and early 20th century. He was known for his drawing of anthropomorphized cats. His preoccupation with drawing cats came about when his wife was dying from breast cancer. The pet cat Peter lifted her spirits, and so Wain began drawing several intricate sketches of him. After his wife died, he continued to obsessively draw images depicting Peter. Wain claims he owes the foundations of his career to him. He was quite a prolific artist, producing several hundred pieces a year for 30 years. His work appeared in children's books, magazines, greeting cards, postcards, and even candy tins. Unfortunately, in 1924, he was committed to a mental institution after his family could not manage his erratic and sometimes violent behavior.
Here we go. Here's some. Come on.
This is the easiest way to feed
Well,
130
these cats in the freezer.
Customize it for them, have catwalks all over the place.
They live in their own world. To them, this is normal.
They're a big problem.
Make it a
There's
fair
too many of them.
Oh, Mama wants to come say hello. Hi.
When I was in my first year of postgraduate studies, I noticed that I had become particularly bold, but also oblivious to external stimuli. I was crossing the streets without looking, despite drivers blaring their horns. I found myself wearing the same clothes for days in a row and being more blunt with my friends, unfazed by the consequences of my actions. In an unrelated research project, I tested positive for toxoplasmosis. It was then I started to make sense of my unusual behavior. I thought if the Toxoplasma gondii parasite affected the behavior of rodents, then why not humans too?
Toxoplasmosis is a parasitic disease caused by the protozoan Toxoplasma gondii. The parasite infects any bird or mammal, including humans, but its primary hosts are felids, or cats.
Contact with contaminated cat feces is the primary source of transmission to human hosts, although hand-to-mouth contact with raw meat containing Toxoplasma cysts is also an important source. So it can be as simple as cat owners cleaning litter boxes and not washing their hands, or drinking water contaminated with infected cat feces. Cats are the only known definitive host of Toxoplasma, meaning the parasite can only sexually reproduce inside cats. When a cat eats an infected prey, it is able to spawn inside a cat's intestines.
The eggs of the parasite, or oocysts, are then excreted in the cat's feces between 3 to 10 days after infection. The cat continues to excrete many millions of oocysts in their feces for nearly 2 weeks. And these oocysts are very resistant. They may survive in the environment for well over a year.
Most cats with T. gondii will not show any symptoms.
I'm not a crazy cat lady yet, but I'm crazy. I have cats, and I'm a lady. Come here. Okay. You gonna say hi? You gonna say hi to everybody? Yeah, he's a big boy. Ugh. Who's not very, he doesn't like to be held too much. He's more the boss of him. I have 5 pets. There are 3 cats, Buddy, Bully, and Boss, and I have 2 small chihuahuas. Aw, who loves me? I have probably brought home about 20 cats in my life. Tacky, Frisky, Saber, Gray Kitty, Dingo, Dot, Taz, Waz. I enjoy owning cats because I feel that they are an equal when it comes to companionship. They are not needy to the point where they can drive you crazy with their wants and their attention needs. They pretty much can stay and entertain themselves. They nap a long time. Sometimes I believe they own us. At least I don't have the crazy cat lady starter kit. It's basically a box of kittens that somebody leaves at your house, and you feel too guilty to get rid of any of them, so you're left with a whole litter of kittens, which do grow up and have their own kittens, and then you have like 30 cats, and then you're the crazy cat lady.
T. gondii particularly affects the behavior of rodents. Studies have shown that rodents' strong innate aversion to cats turns into an attraction. Scientists call it fatal feline attraction. The parasite rewires parts in the brain that deal with dopamine, so altering primal emotions as fear, anxiety, and sexual arousal. The rodent becomes attracted to the odor of its predator, and therefore lures themselves to their own death.
We've thought that Toxoplasma was only a threat to people with compromised immune systems. Well, now in the last few years, several studies have suggested otherwise. These studies have shown that the parasite persists in the brain for the lifetime of the host. And most infected people are asymptomatic. The parasite may be altering the connections between our neurons as it does in rodents, like changing our response to frightening situations, how outgoing we are, our trust in others, and even contributing to car crashes, suicides, and mental disorders like schizophrenia. What's particularly curious is how the protozoan appears to cause many sex-specific changes in personality. Compared to uninfected men, males who had the parasite were more introverted, suspicious, oblivious to other people's opinions of them, and inclined to disregard rules. Infected women, on the other hand, were the exact opposite. They were more outgoing, trusting, image-conscious, and rule-abiding. Infected men were more likely to wear rumpled clothes and were more unkempt. Infected women tended to be more meticulously attired, many showing up for the study in expensive, designer brand clothing. Infected men tended to have fewer friends, while infected women tended to have more. We estimate that a third of the world's population is infected, up to 60 to 80% in some countries. But because in most cases there are no precise symptoms, the vast majority of people have no idea that they are infected.
The placement is exact and symmetrical. Exactness in details, perfection.
Now, I've heard of cat scratch fever, and if you're pregnant, you shouldn't change litter boxes, but I had no idea what any of these conditions or diseases were called. Well, I would definitely consider myself a candidate for the outgoing eccentric condition. I am a little different than most of my friends and coworkers.
The cabin is warm and the snow is deep.
I don't know what it should feel like, but it would answer some questions if I did have it. I don't know, a parasite. It's an alien world, you know? We don't even know where we come from. We're probably all these parts of parasites in a long, crazy way. But, you know, it's a parasite. Like, what can you do about it? It's just a bug, right? You just get rid of it.
But Missy, what if you couldn't get rid of it? And it was decaying your control over your behavior and emotions.
Well, then I have a really good excuse to go out and be really crazy and blame it on the parasite. Yeah, I think I'm going to have a fun summer if I have the parasite. Oh, really? I did that? It's the parasite made me do it. Exactly. So watch for summer of 2015, Missy and the Parasites. Woo! On tour.
In one of our studies of infected subjects, we noticed that they were less attentive and had delayed reactions.
I'm flat broke, but I don't care. I struck right by with my tail in the air. Stray cat struck, I'm a stray cat. I'm a feeler Casanova, that's where it's at.
This suggested to us that Toxoplasma might have an adverse impact on driving, where constant vigilance and fast reflexes are critical. We conducted extensive studies of both men and women, and those who tested positive for the parasite were about 2.5 times more likely to be in a traffic accident compared to their uninfected peers. With up to 1/3 of the world infected with the parasite, we've calculated that it's possible that T. gondii is indirectly responsible for hundreds of thousands of road and workplace accidents each year, as well as a contributing factor to suicides. He spent his final 15 years in hospital, where he continued to draw for pleasure. Over time, Wain descended into complete madness, and with it, his artistic style changed exponentially. Some psychologists have cited his increased abstraction as symptomatic of Wain's schizophrenia. A schizophrenia that, with hindsight, many believe was triggered by toxoplasmosis.
What am I doing here? What am I supposed to be doing? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm at Three Rivers Asante Hospital, and I'm going to go get an antibody test to see if I have the cat disease. I have been a candidate by my doctor for this test because I have history with cats and raw meat. So I am going to go in and have my arm stuck with a needle, and hopefully within a day or two I will have the results and know if I have the disease or not.
Tell her what the name of it is again.
Toxoplasmosis IgG antibody.
Wow.
I like that.
That's a fancy name.
Taught her everything she knows.
Well, I've been standing outside talking about an antibody test I need to take, and I didn't know the rest of it.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3, bite.
At least 50 studies have shown that toxoplasmosis increases the risk of schizophrenia by roughly 2.7 times.
Toxoplasmosis is linked to schizophrenia and other disturbances associated with altered dopamine levels. Maybe also obsessive compulsive disorder, attention deficits, and hyperactivity. As I said earlier discussing rodents, dopamine is a critical signaling molecule involved in fear, pleasure, and attention, and increased concentrations of dopamine is widely accepted as being one major contributing factor to schizophrenia. Most modern antipsychotic drugs designed to suppress schizophrenic delusions actually inhibit dopamine receptors or decrease the level of dopamine in the brain. Some researchers believe that these drugs are thwarting the parasite in some schizophrenic patients.
A study gave T. gondii infected rodents antipsychotic drugs to see how they would react. And, as they thought, the rodents did not develop fatal feline attraction. This suggests that, like the tested rodents, the parasite's ability to alter dopamine levels in its host may cause schizophrenia in people that are genetically or non-genetically susceptible to it.
Stop the train everywhere. Stop all planes in the air. Stop the night. Stop the dawn. My man's gone.
Wain died long before any research of this nature had been conducted. It's curious to think that his obsession with cats and their importance to his livelihood led to his spiral into insanity and ultimately his demise.
My man's gone.
That's a fancy name, that is. Clanton, is that really her name? Everything's so mixed up.
Heard back from the doctor today. I have it. Yes, it's missing the parasites, and I don't have the parasite. Yeah. To think that a little tiny, something you can't even see with the naked eye, could be controlling my acts and emotions and the way I think. Now I have an excuse and a reason for my behavior. I was hoping that this could be the answer to all those unanswered questions.
And what about your cats?
I will not get rid of my cats, if that's what you're asking me.
I have 65 cats.
Get it, Joseph! Get it, Joseph!
The cat cafe craze mingle with furry friends while sipping coffee.
I am not a hoarder in any way, shape, or form.
You can even have a lap cat while working on your laptop.
There is cat feces and spray on every single appliance and countertop.
Coming to a neighborhood near you.
It's hard for the public to fathom that their closest companions could be responsible for transmitting a disease to them, let alone that a parasite could control our behavior.
He pauses briefly.
But the science is there.
We humans have a complex of believing we are the most superior species on the planet. But what if we weren't even the ones running our own show?